Peace and wellness, beautiful souls, magnificent beings. In this video right here, I'm going to break down the fact that extreme feminism is as egregious as male chauvinism. But one gets labeled as a strong, independent female, and the other is labeled as a narcissistic, very arrogant, very detrimental male, a bigot, a individual that hates. Allow me to break it down. They are one and the same. And what we're seeing in the realm of politics is the push of some of the most egregious feminists on the planet, in the likes of Jasmine Crocket, who you just saw talking, in the light of Letitia James, you'll see her speaking, and it's others, in the likes of AOC. The issue I have with these individuals, these particular individuals, are that the Democratic Party in general, and I'm not a Republican by any means of the imagination, and I'm sure there are those on the Republican side that lean into some of the feminism, but it's more so on the liberal left and that side of the aisle, which wants to continue to push for us as leaders, women who chose to intentionally never bring life on this earth. And these three, to my knowledge, are not and have never been married. This is to my knowledge. The issue I have with any human being who wants to lead human beings, you must first be willing to bring a human being onto this planet. And if you choose to not bring a human being on the planet for your own reasons intentionally, and it's not a medical condition that is stopping you, then you are refusing to be the leader of the most important process to the human species, and that's the bringing forth of life. So how can you lead individuals who have done that? And how can you lead individuals if you have never owned and operated a successful business with multiple employees, etc.? And this is where I think we go awry. We elect politicians, for the most part, who have never been leaders when it comes to their own business, therefore hiring people, therefore managing people, therefore developing people and producing some goods for the society. And in the Democratic Party, they want to push the narrative of the strong woman. They want to put the feminism narrative as to the woman being the leader. And the women that they are pushing, again, chose not to even participate in the reproduction of life, the number one priority of the species. If there is no reproduction of life, there is no life of the human species. So let's think about that. And when you choose to intentionally, I'm talking intentional, I'm not talking those who had medical issues who could not, but those who intentionally choose not to bring life onto this earth are in no position to govern over human life. They abdicated the responsibility that is theirs to nurture and bring forth life that is totally dependent on them, showing that they have the wherewithal mentally, emotionally, spiritually, in order to bring a life, develop a life, and get at life a great chance of great survival and success within a society. They chose not to do that. So how can they be fit to govern human life? They are not fit to govern human life. They do not have the experience to govern human life. They do not have the they have not taken the sacrifice necessary to be able to judge and pass laws that affect the lives of millions of Americans. And this is not only for the politicians, this is for judges and whoever are in these positions. And if they did not participate and chose intentionally not to, they should not be allowed to govern human life because they chose not to be involved in the reproduction of human life and chose not the sacrifice that it takes to raise a human life. So this is why these Democrats have completely lost their way, pushing forth individuals who have never led anything in the terms of human life. And if we look at the districts of AOC and Jasmine Crocket in particular, the district that they represent is crime ridden and impoverished. They have done nothing but blame and talk about what the government is and is not doing. They were in power for 4 years, and their condition in their inner city districts are horrendous and will remain horrendous because they are benefiting from keeping those individuals seeking handouts from the government, and they remain their representative. Therefore, as long as they are not self-sufficient, they will continue to beg and want for policies that ask the government for handouts, and these individuals will continue to push the narrative of the handouts and of the victim mentality. And this is why they cannot lead anyone anywhere when it comes to being a politician and or leader. Now let's jump into the feminist part of this aspect. Those feminists who say that they do not need a man, how ridiculous of them to speak in those terms. The very structure of the society that they exist in, the roads that they travel on, the houses that they stay in, the offices that they do their business out of, the grocery stores that they shop out of, the shopping malls that they go into, the nail salons, the hair salons, every aspect of the structure, and I'm talking about the structure of a society, the bridges, the highways, the lights, pole, everything that has made an advanced society is 99.9% from the hands of men. This does not make men better than women. It just makes it an actual fact that men and women, those women who choose to produce and reproduce life and raise life and nurture life, and the men who choose to build, sustain, and provide the creature comforts of the structural fabric of a society, they go hand in hand. One is not more important than the other, but they are two unique individuals, two unique fractions of the one species. And the man who is in tune with his masculinity in the proper way, and the woman who is in tune with her femininity in the proper way, they are the perfect match to build the societies that we need in order to function at high levels. So again, this is no superiority or inferiority. It's just the actual facts. And these individuals who have become extreme feminists are as egregious as the male chauvinists. Both of them are sick. One is labeled as independent and strong, which is a farce, and one is labeled as arrogant and narcissistic and dangerous, which is the truth for both of them. Both of them are arrogant, both of them are narcissistic, and both of them are sick. Again, We must grow together. We must be strong together. And again, the male and female are the perfect match for one another. Those males and females who are in tune with their innate nature, the male masculine, in a way that is productive, that is wise, that is efficient in bringing about the structure of society, and the woman who is the nurturer, the developer of all the human beings that comes on to this planet. Both are extremely important. Both are extremely necessary. And what we have now is a dysfunction within the society with all these new ideas that have no basis in reality, that are only those things that divide, that cannot sustain a society, that cannot sustain a species. So again, these things that they have brought into the narrative that are not of nature and are not from nature and not biologically possible and being pushed forth as ideas cannot sustain itself and cannot sustain a nation.